What we're going to show you today will not only take your breath away, but will also leave you in unbelievable awe. In this video, we will present you the 10 most daring, crazy, and record-breaking jumps of all time. Among them are skaters who went around the world with their wacky jump ideas, musicians who jumped into the audience from dizzying heights, and even people who thought they could jump from world-famous landmarks without much safety and risked their lives. So it's getting completely insane. Therefore, stay tuned here at Wonderlane. Oh, and write us in the comments which of these jumps you found the craziest. We are curious. On number 10, we start directly with probably the most dangerous stunt in TV history, which took place a few years ago in what is probably the craziest TV show of all time, and that was Jackass. While most of the crazy Jackass stunts were actually performed by the crew around Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O, there was one action that was too extreme even for them, namely, jumping out of a plane without a parachute. However, for this, they were able to hire a man named Scott Palmer, who risked his life without batting an eye. For this reason, Palmer and a small team got on an airplane just so he could jump from several miles above the ground without a parachute. On the long way down, he was then accompanied by a couple of parachutists, who were only able to secure him just before the end and brought him back to the ground unharmed. Next, we get to an incredible world record that American motocross rider Ryan Capes stunned the world with in 2008. He dared to make the highest and longest jump ever performed on a motorcycle as part of a Monster Energy event. However, in order to make this jump possible, Capes and his team had to come up with a few ideas. To ensure that Capes could build up sufficient speed, they had to lay a large artificial tarmac on a field. Here, Capes then accelerated so quickly that in the end, he managed to jump a sensational 119 meters and 24 meters high without injuring himself. On number 8, we come to a skater who has often provided jumps that just leave you in disbelief over the past few decades: Bob Burnquist. After Bob Burnquist had already jumped from a ramp into the Grand Canyon in the past, among other things, he set new standards in 2016. To do this, he used a mega ramp over 100 meters long, which is located in his own backyard, and a helicopter. For the end of his skate video, he did several tricks with the helicopter. He dropped from the helicopter into the quarter pipe of his mega ramp, and even did tricks on the flying helicopter. The highlight was his last stunt, where Burnquist jumped out of a mega ramp and clung to the flying helicopter in midair, only to have it pull him hundreds of meters into the air and then to do a base jump.
And we don't have tomorrow anymore.
Here's a historical shot that shows that some people had the dream of performing crazy stunts with motorcycles as early as 1926, a time when motorcycles were still very new inventions. In that year, a man named Fred Osborne dared to perform the first motorcycle jump from a cliff, during which a parachute would open. To do this, Osborne accelerated at more than 96 kilometers an hour towards a cliff in Los Angeles, only to plunge into the depths. Contrary to his expectations, his parachute did not open fast enough, giving everyone involved extreme cause for concern after the hard landing. However, instead of being killed by the fall, Osborne miraculously managed to get to a hospital with only minor injuries, which he was allowed to leave a few days later without any damage. Let's continue with an extreme sport that always creates amazing pictures, namely base jumping. Base jumping is about jumping with a parachute from a solid ground into deep canyons. While most do this somewhere in the mountains, there are also some brave ones who pursue their hobby in the major metropolises of the world. While this jumper, for example, climbed the Mülheim Bridge in Cologne without a safety device and then glided down with with a parachute, what some base jumpers did in Dubai in 2015 is even more blatant. At that time, 8 daredevils propped themselves up at the same moment from the over 400-meter high Princess Tower in the middle of the city. The pictures that emerged are simply unbelievable. On number 5, we have another jump that is not quite as life-threatening, but no less sensational. A world record that has stood for 30 years and will probably not be broken anytime soon. When the American athlete Mike Powell ran for the ultimate jump in the last round of the long jump final at the 1991 World Championships in Athletics in Tokyo, no one could have guessed that he would go down in the history books in the world of sports. Without anyone having expected it, he beat a 23-year-old world record and jumped an incredible 8 meters 95, still a world record today. We continue with a jump that shows on one hand what people are prepared to do when they're under extreme adrenaline, and on the other hand makes clear how lucky they can sometimes be. It's about Fred Durst, the lead singer of the metal band Limp Bizkit, and an action he's unlikely to repeat. In 1998, he climbed onto a stage more than 8 meters high during a concert, only to drop into the crowd from there. While such stage dives are often not unusual, especially at metal concerts, a jump from this height was nothing but life-threatening for Fred Durst, as well as the fans who were supposed to catch him. Although Durst knew shortly before his jump that this was actually too high, fearing to appear uncool, he didn't want to chicken out and overcame himself anyway. Miraculously, no one was injured during the stage dive, but the singer had learned his lesson and never dared to do such a dangerous stage dive again. On number 3, we come to another dangerous jump from a great height, which, fortunately, was performed by an absolute professional. Namely, in April 2016, the American wrestler Shane McMahon brought the following action in a crowded arena. While most wrestling stunts can often be criticized because just about everything is rehearsed, this jump set new standards at the time and should not be imitated under any circumstances. Before we get to number 1, showing you a jump that kept an entire city on its toes, we have a nominal mention on number 2 that shows that even as an extreme athlete, you're apparently only as old as you feel. While many people think that a sport like cliff jumping is only for younger people, this 73-year-old man proves the exact opposite to everyone. Finally, on number 1, we now come to what is probably one of the most violent jumps the world has ever seen. In 2010, the professional inline skater Tig Chris performed a stunt that not only drew tens of thousands of spectators, but also had millions sitting in disbelief and rooted to the spot in front of France's television sets. Chris decided to jump from the first platform of the Eiffel Tower into a vertical ramp. However, since the platform is located at a height of 57 meters, and he would accelerate to more than 60 kilometers an hour in such a ramp, many found the jump in advance not only suicidal, but even physically impossible. Against all criticism, however, Take Chris proved every doubter wrong in the end. And that's it for our video. As mentioned before, write us in the comments which jump you found the most violent, and if we should make more videos with such extreme stunts in the future. Otherwise, like this video if you enjoyed it, don't try to copy these jumps, and we'll see you next time, here at Wonderlane.